Jack has lost his mind. He went looking for it. Okay, so the question is where we left off. The recording had to stop. Do I have du? Do you see anything there that resembles du? Okay, so what doesn't look like du? Okay, so 3 can go out. What about this 2 square root x in the denominator? That is 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. Okay, now that's the other thing. The 2 stays in the denominator. Well, if you move it up, it wouldn't be like, if you have a 2 in the denominator, you can't just move it up and it's 2. That does not equal each other. Okay? So, if you have 1 over 2 square root of x, okay, this is like having 1/2 times 1 over square root of x. So the 2 doesn't move up with it. Another thing that bugged y'all. This caused problems. Okay, so this is x to the 1/2 if it's in the denominator. What is it if you move it up? Negative 1/2. Okay, so that's what I can do with this 1 over 2 square root of x. Basically, yes. So you have the 3 that's going to come out. I'm going to take like a little bit longer than I have to do this. This would be like 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 if you brought it up. Just to be like super clear about what I'm doing. I think I have more parentheses than I need on that denominator.
Why did you put the x twice?
That's a good question.
Can you explain one more time for Joe and I?
Yes. Okay. So the 3 I just brought out. Okay. This I left alone and this I left alone. So really what's weird that I've just done is that I've taken this 2 over the square root of x and I moved it to the top and it was this. Okay? Because dividing by 2 is the same as times 1/2. If you have x to the 1/2 in the denominator, when you move it to the numerator, it's x to the negative 1/2. So that's the big deal. Now there's like, when you got right here, if you didn't recognize that, you could do that big long thing we did where, you know, after we solved for u and du, we solved for x and dx. Do you remember that? Okay, remember when our u and du didn't like match up with something we had in the problem? And so what we did was we took the u equation and solved it for x, and the du equation and solved it for dx, and then started making substitutions. That would work on this one if you didn't like just see that you basically had the du. It would just take more steps. It would just be more algebra. But it would get you there. So what you actually have now is just 3 times the integral of, and all of this is your du over 1 squared plus u squared. Which you can, it's up to you. Okay, so then you can just put in the arctan rule. So it's 1 over a, which is just 1. Arctan, this would be u over 1, which is just u. So I'm just going to put my u back in. Plus c. And that's actually it. I will show you, you don't have to write it down, but this is me when I didn't see that that was my du. So I was solving for dx and u, and when I did it all in there, it comes out to the same thing. Okay, so if you, yeah, it's just a little gross. Okay, but it does work. So here is your homework. It's out of the blue calc book. That hint that's going to be a problem. That number 25 is a problem similar to the last one I did. And I put the hint, but I'm pretty sure the hint is in the book as well. And the reason you're omitting number 9 is it's an arcsecant, which is not required by IB. So it's a very easy problem if I just gave you the arcsecant formula. But since I have not, that is why you are not doing number 9.